I'd like to address it today because it is a very common one, and I have received many like it. Many. Okay, it says, "Dear Burt, I read your scripts regularly, and they touch a deep part of me, and yet can't seem to shake the fear of death. Even now as I write you, I know that nothing you say will make me stop this fear. At times during the night I break into a sweat. During the day, when the fear surfaces, I feel inner panic. I have had this fear for many years, ever since I can remember. Is there hope?" Now, this is so common, and I've had so many like this. And most people who actually have this fear won't even write email. So this is super, this is great. Now, how many people fear death? Everybody who thinks they are a memory. But you see, if we begin to explore the now and begin to really feel the now, totally and completely, and I hope that this, as we go into it and explore, and I have a few questions I want to ask you, you begin to understand something very simple. We have said this many times before, but it can never be said enough. Can there be any time other than this moment? Feel it out in your heart, you know it in your heart. Because no matter when it is, what it is, how it is always now. Always. It has no where or when or which or where. It's always now. For example, right now, what is happening now and what is happening in Bombay is at the same time. Yet, as far as time is concerned, Bombay could be having breakfast now, and we are ready to go to bed. You see what I mean? As far as time is concerned, it's a polar opposite. But as far as now is concerned, it's exactly the same. So time, now, is absolute. You see? You can never think or feel or know anything other than now. When you begin to understand that, you begin to see that all truth, even from what I experienced in the past, whatever you've experienced in the past, and I've worked as a hypnotherapist for 30 years and I've had many clients, and whatever they experience in the past, when I have them in a state of total relaxation and I take them to the past, they experience it as if it's in the moment. As if it's in the moment. But it is a recollection of the past. So what is being experienced at the moment is not now. It is the cellular memory of the body carrying that past. Because the body is memory. Please stay with me here. Can you separate the now from memory? You can and you cannot. The two always go together. They're inseparable. You see? And this is what people who fear death do not understand. These two are inseparable, because people will say, when the body drops, then I'm nothing. But I have had clients throughout the years who have experienced their grandmother who had died. Some had visions. Some had experienced their dead relatives or whatever. They appeared to them physically. I had a vision of Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi which changed my life. And I saw it so clearly. And yet he had passed away in 1950. But he had the same form. A beautiful, radiant form. So what is it that survives? What is it that dies? What is death? What is life? But you cannot know that until you can empty yourself of the total past and be now. And when you enter now, which is called the silence, which we covered before, the silence has one incredible power. It can recognize itself. But it is not made up of words. It is not made up of reason. It is made up of a knowing that has no words. You begin to know, you see, beyond a doubt. And the moment you know that, you will not fear death. But that cannot happen just by listening to the words. It happens when you begin to recognize what the words really mean. You see? So, what is the one thing that causes all disturbance in human life, all the drama? Yeah.
Fear of death.
Fear of death, isn't it? Right. And so what do we do when we fear death? We become desperate to seek being. But because we don't know being, because we don't know that now is all, we read about it, we hear it, but we don't really know it, that now is all that there is, because if we did, we would never worry. Because worry is about a future that hasn't happened yet and will never happen, because tomorrow never comes. Because when it comes, it's still now. You see? And the past is gone, it's finished, it's history. We can learn from it. But it can never be now. Now is total, now is absolute. So, so when we have this fear, we are aging, we're going to grow old, we're decaying, we are soon going to die. Well, physically, the moment you're born, you are ready, to be gone, to die. But we have to understand the word death and what it means, because it's a beautiful word. You cannot separate life from death. You see, they're interchangeable. They both live together. My body, for example, right now is dying, yes. But at the same time, it's being renewed every moment. The cells are dying and being renewed. My nails are growing every day. You see? I have to shave my head every 2 days because it keeps growing all the time. So you see, you're being renewed all the time. So we're living and dying. They both live together. They're constant. It's the same like night and day. They're together too. It's a rotation of the earth around the sun. And according which facing, we call it day. When it doesn't face the sun, we call it night. But the two are just a movement. So everything is just a movement. Everything is one. There's no separation one thing from another. You see? Two sides of the same coin. It's all oneness, called love. But we cannot know that love, which is the now, which is the totality, which is the reality, the truth, until we are able to move beyond the past and future. In other words, we have to empty ourselves, at least for a minute, to enter that total silence that has no definition. Because you see, the whole past is made up of name and form. I am Burt Harding, and I have worked as a physiotherapist, and I do this and I do that. Fine, but that's past. That's history. You see, right now, what am I? Right now, what are you? Who are you? You see? Da. And that da, I don't know, is beautiful. Because it's too grand. You're such a light being, you're such now being, that words fall flat. They cannot describe that which you are, because it's so vast. You see, it has really no limit. And you are that pure awareness. So where were we? So therefore, the fear of death, which haunts us all the time, because we're constantly experiencing our body, and we have to know what that means, to experience your body, which is a beautiful thing in itself, you see, makes us drive for the being that we are. And we become desperate for the being that we are. But we don't know. It's the being we are seeking. We think it's $1 million. It will give us power, you see. It will give us security. It will give us safety. It will give us comfort. Security, safety, comfort. These are all the nature of the now. You see? They're all the attributes of the quality of now. But we think it lives in time. So we take a big plunge forward, a great leap, when we understand that everything that we ever want is for this, which we already are. Isn't that kicking the pants? Really, we're always chasing ourselves. We're always after who we are, but we don't know it. And that's why we call it awakening.